I want to take just a minute to give thanks for even being here. Many times in the past, I have thought that we're missing the boat in Wayne County and not addressing our faith-based communities. Many times we have worked on so many good things. We've gone to the newspaper. We've gone to the radio. We put it on social media. But yet when we're out in the public, so many of these good things go unnoticed. People go unaware. And we are working very, very hard to do some very good things. So I want to thank Father Adam Schreiber, Father Miguel, and Father Herb for working with us. It is my hope and my prayer that we together can put a ministerium in Wayne County that's as wide-reaching as Wayne County. Currently, I believe the ministerium is the Holmesville Ministerium. There are so many good people in the north, and there are so many good people in the south. In our first song today, we listened to, "The Lord does not know the north and south, or the east and west." He cares about everybody, and everybody is engaged in our community. And I think that's a request and a challenge that I bring today, and I hope that you all will help spread that word. We need the help of our faith-based communities to get the word out, no matter what it is that we do in county government. Because we continue to try to do good things. So thank you. At the same time, it turns out that I sit at my desk and think that we need to address our faith-based communities. That word and that thought is happening in other places simultaneously. I just recently, after even being asked to speak here, started to do just a little bit of research, and I find out there's an executive order by the President of the United States, March 3rd, 2018. The executive order is from the White House on faith and opportunity initiatives. Even people at the national level are thinking about faith-based organizations and what that means. When we start to look back in history and we start to recognize what our forefathers believed in, they all talked about God. They all talked about faith. They all talked about our lives and how faith rises us up. In this executive order, I'm just going to read just a little bit of it so you understand that's exactly what they're talking about. It says, "By the authority vested in me as President, by Constitution and the law of the United States of America, and to assist faith-based and other organizations in their effort to strengthen the institutions of civil society and American families and communities, it is hereby ordered as follows. Faith-based community organizations have tremendous ability to serve individuals, families, and communities through means that are different from those of government and with capacity that often exceeds that of government. These organizations lift people up. They keep families strong. They solve problems at local levels. And just recently, we've been contacted by the Department of Agriculture that is in charge of this endeavor by the national government. And they're looking at what we are doing in Wayne County. One of the things that we've tried to get out in the spirit of hope is that we've formed an initiative in a group called Wayne Tomorrow. 5 years ago, we started working on this. We started to recognize and look at our comprehensive plan that's done every 10 years. And we recognized that we lost the American Wire and Rope, More Business Forums, Chroma 2, Katz's Factory, and many, many others, Bailey's. And how many people sat at home in their basements with sewing machines and put garments together to help make a living for their family. That all disappeared. And not only was it that disappeared, We at one time had 1,700 dairy farms in Wayne County. 1,700. We currently have 40. One of the initiatives that we're working on, and we're working diligently at it, is to come up with a pathway forward for agriculture. When you start to look at the ancillary businesses that fed agriculture, their feed, their seed, their fertilizer, and all the things that agriculture needs, you begin to realize there's so many jobs that were lost. And one of the very troubling things, and people should know this, one of the very troubling things is this is not just happening in Wayne County. This is happening across the state of Pennsylvania. And furthermore, it's happening across our great nation. And we begin to recognize that farmers are going out of business at staggering rates, and that we are currently eating about 3 out of every 5 bites from other countries. You begin to worry, what is our national security? If we can't feed our own people from our own country, then God better be with us. But the good news is this. We are working on good things. We are working on a feasibility study for a dairy plant. We're working on opportunity for processing, for beef, for fruits and vegetables. We can get people right here who have fallow ground and get it back into agriculture again. These are the things that we're being recognized on a national level for putting together. 5 years ago, there's a man in the audience I'd like to recognize him. It's Mike Uretsky. Him and I had breakfast. He planted a seed in my brain and he said, we can all work together. We can accomplish some great things. We have to stop thinking about the things that divide us. And we have to find some common ground and move forward on those initiatives. The one thing that I guess we're all fortunate about is we need food. Everybody needs food. So agriculture, an initiative for agriculture, is just something we can all agree on. And we can all work toward good things. We worked with our school district. They now have an agricultural curriculum back in the school. And the agricultural curriculum at the school filled up like that. Kids were excited about agriculture because the things that they're learning academically, the theories that they're learning in math and technology, they can go in that agricultural environment and they can see why they're learning the things that they are learning out of books. I know when I was young and I was learning algebra, I often wondered, why do I need this? Why do I need to, know the Pythagoras theorem? But when I started working with my uncle, who was also in the audience, I began to recognize if you want to square up a footer and you want to build a square house, you need to know agriculture. I guess I should have learned it better. So these are the things that we want to work together with the faith-based community to get the word out. There are so many troubled people and so many people that have problems in our community, but there are so many more good people who attend a congregation and believe in God and can lift people up and do good things. I want to see us all working together. I want to see us all doing good things. Because again, when we go back to our forefathers, they talked about things like one nation under God. In God we trust. So these are the things that even Benjamin Franklin talked about. Our God-given rights. When we talk about the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, all those things were put together by people who had faith, people who had purpose, people who had conviction. And that's what faith gives people. And that's why we want to yoke the strengths of our faith-based communities. One very important thing that we can work on almost immediately. It's coming up quickly. And a lot of people don't take it seriously. but it's something that's very serious, and that's the census. And the census is something that brings programs back to our community, brings money back to our community through liquid fuels in all of our municipalities that help rebuild our infrastructure, our roads and our bridges. This is something that is incredibly important to get an accurate count. We can work with the ministerial. They can work through their clergy and through their parishioners to get an accurate count and really do a good job on the census. And incidentally, when we're talking about the census, we can go back to the Gospel according to Luke, chapter 2, 1 through 5, I believe it is. And in the census, the original census, there's a story that most people don't recognize as being so significant, but the story is that Caesar Augustus puts out a decree. He wants a complete count of the inhabited land. People have to go back to their city of origin, where their origins came from. The city of David, Bethlehem, is where Joseph came from. So Joseph and Mary were going back to the city of Bethlehem to be counted, when they found that there wasn't a room in the inn that night. And it took them to a manger, where they stayed the night, and where a much more significant story started. So that's the challenge that I give to you. It's just like Joseph and Mary, and what happened that was so great. From that point forward, I feel that we have great things in this county that we were right on the cusp of accomplishing. And if we can get our good people in those faith-based communities to work together to help us and get the word out and encourage others, we can really see some great things happen. So thank you again very much for having me. God bless you all. God bless Wayne County. And God bless the United States of America.